Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is New2, and today I'm bringing you a new deck, which is my Storm Kora deck. So for people who've been following my videos, you'll know that I'm an avid tech player, but today I thought I'd bring you a different list, and we're going to look at Storm. So what do I like about Storm? Well, first I think healing is really important in this game, so I love that. I love some of the combos. I love the high damage output that it can do. This deck isn't a high damage output, but there are other Storm builds that are just as good. Also, they're just cute. You know, the Mary creatures are adorable. So why not build one? Right, well, let's go straight into it then. Let's have a look at our hero. So our hero is Kora. And Kora is a 28 health hero with superiority water. And she's got an incredible passive ability which states that your target takes 1 damage every time you heal for 3 or more. This cannot be increased by effects. So no Storm Shaman to increase it, but if you heal multiple times in the turn, you will do multiple chip damage to your opponent. So the whole deck is based around this Kora's passive here. We're going to grind our opponent down with chip damage, with high heals, and eventually they're going to run out of resource, and we're just going to be able to take the win. So this deck doesn't work with any other hero but Kora, because it's got such a high specialization in the heals. And yeah, her passive, fantastic. Her health is on the lower side of things. She's one of the lighter health heroes, but that doesn't matter because we'll heal her back straight away. And superiority water, which is exactly what we want, because most heals in the Storm are water, so that's what we want. So let's have a look. We run item, and the one item we run is Skyrider. So Skyrider is I think that's a win. That's a win element there. With the defend ability, discard 1 card to get 4 healing. So straight away, that will trigger Kora. Heal 4 for you. Deal 1 damage to your opponent. And then a decent attack ability as well. You discard 1 card in your hand to deal 4 damage. So that's really good. We like that. If you get this out in play, you'll never run out of an attack option. And speaking of attacks, let's go straight into our 2s of. So the very first 2 of we run is 2 Spark Wisps. There they are. And we like Spark Wisp. Spark Wisp there is your 5 damage stab. Doesn't do anything fancy. Lightning element. So you'll see later with Cloud Harvester we can get these back. We can keep these recycled. So that's why we only run 2. Yep, 5 damage. Good all round. Again, if you know, if you've seen me play before, Tyrax Mercenary, which is the tech version of this card, does the same. That's really good. 5 damage, no problem. So I'll put that back up there. Let's have a look at the next one. Crackling Beast. Now, Crackling Beast, again, is a lightning element with 3 damage. And I can remove 1 of my buffs to increase this by 3. Now, we run a whole lot of buffs. So we will be able to remove some buffs that are close to being expired. So we can get good economy with Crackling Beast and we can hit them for 6 damage. So one of our star attack cards, it's like a Patrick on steroids, is our Heroic Starfish. Now, Heroic Starfish deals 3 damage and heals yourself for 3. But we heal ourselves for 3, which triggers Kora's passive off. So that means we deal 4 damage and heal for 3, which is fantastic. You know, that is economy for a card there. That's a 7-point difference. 4 up, 4 down for them, 3 up for you. Yeah, I love it. Rerun 3 Heroic Starfish. And then finally, perhaps one of the best cards, not just in this deck, but the Storm has to offer, is Dust Fiend. Again, 4 damage, so it's on the bit of a lighter side here. We don't run any of these 6 damage cards, but you'll find out later on that we can maximize these to get the most out of them. And it also counts as any element when used for a combo. So this is any element that you control. So no, you can't use this in dual color decks to substitute. I can't put a tech combo in there and use Dust Fiend to pay for it. It has to be one that you control. But it's really good. So 4 damage is decent, and he covers the cost of any of the combos that we're playing as well. So we definitely run 3 Dust Fiend. Next, on to our defend cards. Again, we're light on the defense. Rerun 3 Delivery Crab. Delivery Crab is a great card because it just 3 heals, draw 1 card, and then that triggers off Kora's ability as well. So we're going to heal for 3, deal 1 damage, draw 1 card. I just can't think of a card that gives you everything in Lightseekers, but with Kora, Delivery Crab really does give you everything. You can deal a bit of damage, chip damage to your opponent, you can heal for 3, and you get to draw a card. So essentially it replaces itself. So you play it down, you get to draw. So you get the free heal and the free point of damage there, and it replaces itself. So really good. We like Delivery Crab. Vitalizing Frog. Vitalizing Frog, just 6 heal again, which triggers Kora off. So 6 heal to you, 1 point of damage to your opponent. And again, these cards here are just designed to outlast your opponent here. You're just going to keep healing up and up. They're just going to run out of cards to do anything. And then that's your time to strike, because in this deck you're going to have to set up to do the big damage. And the big damage comes from these guys here. Storm Shaman. Now Storm Shaman is an absolutely fantastic buff that increases all damage done to other heroes by rotate. Let's see if we can focus that in. There we go. So you wait a turn, next turn, whoop, it comes on. They're taking 4 damage plus whatever card you played as well. So all of a sudden that turns your Dust Fiends into 8. That turns your Heroic Starfish's what's that? Is that it's Heroic Starfish 3 damage here. 3 damage, yeah. That turns your Heroic Starfish into 7s. So, plus the 8 for the point of healing for Kora as well. So 8 damage plus the 3 heal. So yeah, we really want Storm Shamans, and we're going to use our heals there to bide our time to set up, make sure we have the correct attack cards in our hands, so that when we can start playing these attack cards down, we can maximize their damage value. So, of course, we run 3 Storm Shamans. Next, our only buff removal in the game is Thunder Slug. So Thunder Slug, when it comes into play, you can get to remove 1 buff straight away, and the next turn you can remove 2, or up to 2. So yeah, we really like that, and it says you may, so you don't even have to. So you have to run 3 though, because it's our only buff removal. So we like Thunder Slug. Next, we run a 2 of Cloud Harvester. Now Cloud Harvester gives you chip damage there, 1/1, and you get to move discarded lightning action cards back to your hand, up to 2. So that means we can recycle our Storm Shaman's lightning action card. We can recycle our Crackling Beasts up here. We can recycle our Spark Wisps as well. So that means that we can start recycling our cards. We can play Spark Wisp down, and then we can pick it up again without fear that once it's gone, it's gone. And that's why we run 2. So a double Cloud Harvester. There's our Thunder Slugs. Let's have a look here. Next is we run 2 Broken Dam. So Broken Dam's a pretty cool card. It will give 2 damage permanently if your opponent doesn't have a buff. So with Thunder Slug, we might be able to shut down some of their buffs per turn. And that means that we can just keep hitting them for damage. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. So they're going to have to remove it or play a buff. And then even then they're going to take 6 damage. So yeah, we really like Broken Dam. So put it here. Finally, now, if you've ever played against Storm, you'll probably see every Storm deck running Bubblefish. Bubblefish is just so good. It absolutely takes the wind out of the sails of aggro decks, because straight away you're nullifying 2 damage. Next turn it's 3, the turn after it's 3. And all of a sudden that turns your Tyrax Mercenary from 5 damage down to 3, down to 2. And you're going to completely shut down your opponent with these. You're going to be healing up as well, so they might spend 2-3 turns now doing 6 damage to you. You just play Vitalizing Frog, you heal back 6, and then Kora pokes them for 1 as well. So we really like Bubblefish. It's definitely a 3 of. I wouldn't run a Storm deck, I don't think, without running 3 Bubblefish. And again, he just provides that time for you, like your healing cards, for you to set up, get your combos out, get your buffs out, get your Storm Shamans going. Okay, talk about combos. Let's have a look at our combos. So our first one is a 2-cost Electro Stun. Now, we definitely have the lightning, we definitely have the water elements, and it's going to deal 7 damage, and they must discard a card if they play a card. So we like that. We like that because that can be increased by Storm Shaman, I believe. Let me just make sure that is correct. Storm Shaman here says, yep, damage done to other heroes. So that will trigger Electro Stun there. And of course, they discard a card as well. So that helps you control, that slows down their momentum. And to be honest, 7 damage for a cost of 2 is pretty decent, with a positive effect on you as well. So yep, we like Electro Stun. Cleansing Wind, kind of following on from the discard of Electro Stun. Cleansing Wind here will deal 9 damage, and then the recipient moves all action cards of an element of your choosing from their hands to the deck. So here you have to know what you're playing against and who you're playing against, and how they're going to play. So if I was playing against my Impex deck, I'll know to send the explosive element back because I don't want my opponent with their attack cards. So Cleansing Wind, like Electro Shock there, has an element of control in it, while we can just deal consistent damage, which can be buffed with Storm Shaman. So we like that. Next, Healing Rain. Of course, what would this heal deck be without a heal combo buff? Healing Rain heals 4/4/5, and it's cheap. It's a 2 cost, so I like 2 cost and 3 cost combos. I don't really like any more than that. And of course, every time it triggers, it will also trigger Kora. So that's heal 4, opponent takes a damage, heal 4, opponent takes a damage. So a lot of cards here that heal 3 or more. I don't think we run any cards that don't, because we always want to trigger Kora's buff. So we like Healing Rain. Next, Murky Waters. And I like Murky Waters because sometimes we need to deal damage. You know, you can't win in this game just by healing. You're going to have to... sometimes you're just going to have to get the damage out. And at a cost of 2 water element there, which we can easily afford, we're going to be able to play Murky Waters here, which just deals 7 damage, and increase this by 5 if the recipient has more than 20 health. So you can play this early on in the game. You know, you can hit for 12 damage. That's pretty good. If you've been lucky enough to get Storm Shaman in play as well, you can hit for 16 damage, which is crazy. Of course, multiple Storm Shamans stack, I believe. So you know, you could hit for loads there. Yeah, we really like Murky Waters, and it's cheap. Cheap stab, 7 damage or more. So yeah, I like that. Finally, for an added bit of control, Storm Wall. So it's a cost 1 of each element, so that's fine because we can use this to pay for these if we don't want to play it. You can't be attacked, so fantastic, great. And we deal rotate damage to your opponent, 4 blank 4 4. So yep, again, like a Broken Dam there, this is consistent rotating buff damage. And then once it's gone, we can just use Crackling Beast there to... there he is. We can just use Crackling Beast to remove it to deal more damage. So, yes, this is the deck. There are a couple of other cards that I wanted to put in, but I just can't find find the space for. Marry Bard is another one. Marry Bard is a buff that when it's in play, it just stops all your opponent's buffs from spinning. I really like that for control. If I can get my hands on it, I probably might make some modifications. Maybe we can drop down a Vitalizing Frog, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we can drop Sky Rider. We'll have to see. This is the first incarnation, so I'm looking forward to playtesting this. And if you like what you've seen, give the video a like, comment and share, like and subscribe as well, because I do a lot of videos myself. So yeah, it's good to see your support and to support the Lightseekers community. I've been U2. Thank you very much.